speaker was recorded at an Addictive Eaters Anonymous event held in Dublin, Ireland in January 2023. For more information, visit www.aeainfo.org.
My name's Meirion. I'm an addictive eater. It's really great to be here. And it's really great to see people, in the flesh. And thanks. I've just spent the first little while here just kind of soaking people in, because I see people here a lot on screens, and it's nice just to be around you. So so it says we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics or addictive eaters. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently maybe, has to be smashed. And it gets smashed by trying to be and eat like other people, or hoping that I presently may be able to eat like them. I took a lot of trying. Like, I spent a lot of time trying to eat like other people, and I could make a really good start. I was good at making starts and not so good at seeing anything through, whether it was to do with food or work, like jobs, relationships, like any part of life. I was a good starter. I didn't really know what that had to do with food. Like, when I was young, like right from a little kid, I was stealing food and lying about it. I would take things from my mother's kitchen, and this was as a toddler, I think, I would, and for some reason I thought I figured I had to lie about it because something said it wasn't right, but it wasn't ever something I felt like I could easily talk about or admit. And so it's always sneaky, and always like I just, if I got hold of stuff, there was no sharing going on. And it was like if I was forced to share, it was like I was having to hand over like part of myself, and like take my arm off. And so it would, food had a lot more to it than just the food. And I just carried on, stealing. I was a little criminal. And you think, well, it's only like only stealing food from a shop, And I was 9-10 years old, but stealing, and still stealing when I was probably 15, 16, and I only stopped because I started to get some money. I needed what I thought I needed, and I was willing to go to any lengths to get it. As I got older, the food kind of, it went underground a bit because I found alcohol and other things, and it appeared, I'm a bit of a generalist, so I'll just use anything that I can to deal with the living problem, the difficulty with relationships. And I just mean any relationships. And like just a way of getting through life. I didn't have the skills. And I certainly didn't have the capacity to separate out what was useful thinking and what was not useful thinking. It was a revelation, this idea of I heard someone sharing this morning, like a recorded share about decision making. And this is a guy from AA, he was saying that if they'd have taken a gorilla from a zoo and had them throw darts at a dartboard, yes or no, that just the gorilla throwing the darts would make better decisions about my life than I could. Is this a good idea for Meirion? Yes or no? And every decision I made was filtered through the filter of how's this going to work out for Meirion. And I didn't know that's how I lived. And I can see now that all of the like the problems and the what's the word? Just the negative outcomes of decisions are just based on the fact or a result of the fact that all I could do was think about how's this going to affect me? How can I make myself feel better? And and the rest of it. So the idea of accepting guidance from somebody, which is what was suggested. When I found Addictive Eaters Anonymous, it was suggested that I kind of give up my ideas about how to live and just tell someone what I'm thinking of doing and then taking some guidance on how to handle things. And it just seems so simple now, because they would tell me really. The person that sponsors me now was one of the first people that I met in AEA, and it was not difficult, unusual things he was saying. Things like turn up for work, stay at work, like don't leave your job. If you start something, unless there's really compelling reasons, just carry on with it. That whole thing has been a revelation to me because I couldn't stick at anything. It's like it's not rocket science. But if I go into my head to try and figure out, it will always just it'll come up with some great ideas about how Meirion's life is going to get put in this like wonderful situation, and I know how to get there. And then it's a total mess, total mess with loads of hurt and upset, and a worried mother, worried mother. And she doesn't, she probably still worries, but she doesn't really worry about me like she used to. I know that if I pick up the food, it just opens up the floodgates to all. If I want all of that back, all I have to do is pick up the food, because I can't manage a little bit. I can't manage a little bit, so I have to manage none of it. So yeah, very happy to be here, and I'll leave it there. Thanks, Serena.